people? I hope you're enjoying it. You have a possibility to get access to even more great content, and I'm going to show you how very quickly. First and foremost, you're going to want to become a member. And you can become a member at two different levels. You can become a member at the shout out level, which is our $1.99 or $2 tier, and then you can become a member at what we call the foamy homie tier, which is at $3.99 or $4, depending upon where you join. So I'm gonna show you how you join on YouTube. All you got to do is simply go to join right here, and then you can pick one of the two tiers, the foamed up or the foamy homie tier. And again, the foamy homie tier will give you access to everything. Just simply click on that and join and follow the instructions from there, and then you'll get access to our members posts that we place over in the post section, where you'll get access to members content Monday through Friday. All right. And then you'll get other access to streams and things like that. Now, if joining us over here is not your cup of tea, then you can become a Patreon member. Simply go look for MM2K Gaming News at Member Plus. And then what you can do is see the membership options over there. And again, we have two tiers. We have a tier one that's similar to the foamed up tier. We got another tier, tier two that's similar to the foamy homie tier. But here's the crazy thing: as you can see here, those prices are crossed out, and there's even cheaper prices. All through the month of April in 2025, we are giving people access on Patreon 50% off. So you can join us on Patreon, get 50% off your subscription and get access to the same great stuff. Another thing that you can do, another awesome perk, is when you join our Discord, which is in the description below. Join our Discord. You'll also get notifications to when all of this member content goes live. You can go to our special members only notification rooms, and you'll get access to the content there. So multiple ways you can join us over at MM2K Gaming News, get access to all the great content Monday through Friday, on top of the stuff that you already enjoy. We thank you again so much for your support, and until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace. What's up, people? I hope you're enjoying MM2K Gaming News content. You have a possibility to get access to even more great content, and I'm going to show you how very quickly. First and foremost, you're going to want to become a member. And you can become a member at two different levels. You can become a member at the shout out level, which is our $1.99 or $2 tier, and then you can become a member at what we call the foamy homie tier, which is at $3.99 or $4, depending upon where you join. So I'm going to show you how you join on YouTube. All you got to do is simply go to join right here, and then you can pick one of the two tiers, the foamed up or the foamy homie tier. And again, the foamy homie tier will give you access to everything. Just simply click on that and join and follow the instructions from there, and then you'll get access to our members posts that we place over in the post section, where you'll get access to members content Monday through Friday. All right. And then you'll get other access to streams and things like that. Now, if joining us over here is not your cup of tea, then you can become a Patreon member. Simply go look for MM2K Gaming News at Member Plus. And then what you can do is see the membership options over there. And again, we have two tiers. We have a tier one that's similar to the foamed up tier. We got another tier, tier two that's similar to the foamy homie tier. But here's the crazy thing: as you can see here, those prices are crossed out, and there's even cheaper prices. All through the month of April in 2025, we are giving people access on Patreon 50% off. So you can join us on Patreon, get 50% off your subscription and get access to the same great stuff. Another thing that you can do, another awesome perk, is when you join our Discord, which is in the description below. Join our Discord. You'll also get notifications to when all of this member content goes live. You can go to our special members only notification rooms and you'll get access to the content there. So multiple ways you can join us over at MM2K Gaming News, get access to all the great content Monday through Friday, on top of the stuff that you already enjoy. We thank you again so much for your support. And until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace. What's up, people? I hope you're enjoying MM2K Gaming News content. You have a possibility to get access to even more great content, and I'm going to show you how very quickly. First and foremost, you're going to want to become a member. And you can become a member at 2 different levels. You can become a member at the shout out level, which is our $1.99 or $2 tier, and then you can become a member at what we call the foamy homie tier, which is at $3.99 or $4 depending upon where you join. So I'm gonna show you how you join on YouTube. All you got to do is simply go to join right here, and then you can pick one of the 2 tiers, the foamed up or the foamy homie tier. And again, the foamy homie tier will give you access to everything. Just simply click on that and join, and follow the instructions from there, and then you'll get access to our members posts that we place over in the post section, where you'll get access to members content Monday through Friday. All right. And then you'll get other access to streams and things like that. Now, if joining us over here is not your cup of tea, then you can become a Patreon member. Simply go look for MM2K Gaming News at Member Plus. And then what you can do is see the membership options over there. And again, we have 2 tiers. We have a tier 1 that's similar to the foamed up tier. We got another tier, tier 2 that's similar to the foamy homie tier. But here's the crazy thing: as you can see here, those prices are crossed out, and there's even cheaper prices. All through the month of April in 2025, we are giving All right. Well, what's up, people? It's your boy MM. I'm here with Cold Blood. We've been missing in action for a little bit over a week. That's all on me. But before we get into all that, Cold Blood, what's going on, good brother? How you been, man?
Awesome.
Good. Good to hear that, brother. Good to hear that. Yeah, man, I was happy to be back, but I put up on a message. The day that I'm having, I will be a complete asshole today, which I really don't care. Yeah, I put up on a message, hey, let's get to 10 likes and we can get the show started, and people just start leaving. Like, that just validates why I'm not even, I'll be an asshole today. That's why it validates why I'm not even here. Like, as soon as the opportunity presents itself, that's why 90% of the content is going to be elsewhere. Can't get, we had over 11 people watching. We couldn't get 10 likes. Like, come on, man. Anyway, on that same note, let me put this message up here too. And then we're going to get right into the show. Shout out to Geek to Sneak. Hold on, where's that? It did not. Oh, it don't look like it put. Oh yeah, there it goes, right there. I'm gonna move this over a little bit so it can be a little bit more centered. So, okay, let me bring it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Shout out to Geek. Geek wants to give away. He wants to give away a copy of Death Stranding. Now I'm sitting there thinking, should he? He wants to give away a copy of Death Stranding. I'm just waiting for him to confirm back. Geek wants to do something for the members. I mean, he wanted to do something for the members. And I might just say, fuck it, let's just go with the members that we have right now and just cap it off for them. Instead of giving people that just want to grab a gift and roll the opportunity. But I'm just throwing it out there. If I continue to see behavior where people can't hit the like button, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because this is a hobby for me. Me and the team, we got our setup. You know what I'm saying? Like, people going to get access to games. We're going to review games. I'm reviewing games. People going to get access to stuff. We're not going to, I'm not going to subdue myself to that type of behavior. So yeah, it's pending. But Geek wants to give away a copy of Death Stranding. He wants to give everybody an opportunity to be honest, but you just got to be a member, and a member at any level. We're going to do a Magic Wheel in the 10th of June. You could be a member at any level. Now, depending upon your level will depend upon how many, tickets you have. I'll confirm that with Geek, but that's how we normally do raffles here. But it'll determine how many tickets you get. But yeah, he wants to give somebody a copy of Death Stranding, and he said a Kojima t-shirt. He going all out. That's my brother from another mother. He's been a supporter of the platform for a long time. I don't know if I want to do that for people that can't hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? But we'll continue on anyway. We got the homie Trucknet, the Xbox warrior out here. Hey Truck, I saw you on Porter Rock's podcast. He told you, hey bro, what did he said Trucknet be out here like Weekend at Bernie's, just dragging Xbox's dead body around, trying to act like it's alive. I was dying. Hey, shout out to Porter Rock. I said, yeah, that's the homie Trucknet. He is trying. Thank you, Chariot Man Gaming. I appreciate you, brother. You're another supporter, and y'all know who y'all are. I'm not talking to y'all that always support. You can't speak for you're not going to suffer because of everybody. So for those of you that support, that be around, that be kicking it, that rock out with the content or whatever, that show the support, that know, you know what I'm saying, look, Moss is trying to get out here. Him and Cold Blood, they trying to do stuff when they can. So when they do show up while the schedule is tumultuous, let's at least just hit the like button if we're watching. If you're not watching, I don't expect you to do that, but let's at least hit the thank you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in the state of mind. Geek wants to give out Death Stranding. I might just say nah. You know what I'm saying? I already get me and Cold Blood, we'll have our copy secured. It's up to y'all. Yeah, I'm at that place right now with it, man. Let's see here. Let me fix this message. We're giving away a copy. We're giving away games, or we're giving away Death Stranding. Death Stranding to members. Yep. Join before it's too late. All right. But what else we got over here in the chat? Well, Cole, while everybody's piling in, and again, hit that like button. Cold Blood, what you been playing, brother? I know you've been getting some gaming, and what you been able to play?
Last week, the only thing I was playing is First Berserker Kazan.
Oh, okay. I thought you were kind of lukewarm on it. You actually got it and gave it a try. What you think about it?
What you mean lukewarm about it?
I thought you didn't really care for it.
Well, at the time when it released, I didn't.
Okay.
But now with the fucking dryness out here, the goddamn 80-year-old grandma dryness in gaming, shit. Bro.
Division 2's out. Why don't you get that?
Yeah, that's what I said right now. Dryness, bro. Desert, bro.
Yeah, I'm not even picking that up. They gotta show me, and I'm in the market for games like that, and I'm not picking up. They gotta completely change that game. Now, Chariot or somebody, or even Geek, if y'all played it and you're like, yeah, nah, man, they reconfigured everything and they did the loot differently. Okay, maybe, because I get a discount. I get it for $13, but I don't even think it's worth that, to be honest with you, from what I've seen. Oh, okay, Cold Blood. That's what's up, man. I've been playing this damn, and I've been having it. My sleep has been gone, but I don't want to fuck this code situation up for everybody. So I got to do this one because I got fucked over when I did Atomic Hearts review. I did the review, but because I was like 3 days late, I don't get credit for it. So now the key company's like, you got to do this review in time or you can forget about it. Fuck. So I'm going through V-Rising, which I'm enjoying, but the only time I get to play it is like when I get home, like 11 o'clock at night. So I'm sitting there playing it, and it's a long ass fucking game, bro. Jesus Christ, this game is long. But yeah, it's a good game, man. It's a good game. I shout out to them. Shout out to Stunlock. It's a good like AA game. You know, it has a hardcore following. And if you're into the, you know, the crafting stuff, like it really doesn't make the crafting look or seem meaningless. It's very important. So shout out to them for that one. Chariot Man says, let me see if I can get back to the social pain here. Chariot Man says, that geek to sneak. He's doing dope stuff for the community. Yeah, as always. That's the homie. Trucknet said, I like the vid, man. Now, shout out to Truck. Truck, I know you be here with your bullshit, man. You know, Porter Rock said he like Weekend at Bernie's. If y'all never seen Weekend at Bernie's, y'all got to go check that out. That's the homie Trucknet trying to drag around Xbox's dead corpse and make it seem like they still compete. But shout out, no, Truck. And that's the crazy thing about it. This is what irks me, but at the same time makes me enlightened. I don't think Trucknet, Cold Blood, and I don't think Trucknet has ever agreed with Cold Blood and I through the years that he's been here. All he does is argue with us and shit, right? Unless we're saying something good about Xbox. But he still shows support. So for those of you that come here...
Wait. I can reward Trucknet with something positive about Xbox.
Oh shit, what's that? What you got for him? Oh, don't cream your pants, Truck.
You finally have one game where the guys that play on Game Pass is more than PlayStation actually buying that shit. And that's Doom.
Yeah.
like by far, like literally 80% of your player base is on Game Pass. That's positive for Xbox.
Yeah.
That's very positive for Xbox. Not so much for its push
your
to
survival and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only positive thing I can think about right now.
See, we try. If you just hit the like button, we try and shit to find. That's what I'm saying. Like Trucknet, we ain't never agreed on anything. It took Cold Blood like 3 decades to say something good about Game Pass that will make Trucknet cream his pants. And he comes through and he hits the like button and he supports the platform. I
don't like it. Bro, I don't like Doom so much. I even Game Pass that shit. I said, fuck that. I'm not playing that on PlayStation.
It's bad. I am hearing it's bad.
It's not bad. It's just fucking pointless, really.
It's a downgrade.
It's downgraded from the other two.
Okay.
I mean, visually, not really. I mean, visually, it's about the same as Eternal, probably.
Okay.
In the gameplay, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. Like, it's not, it's good, but I'm hearing people saying it. Some people have said it's bad, but I'm hearing, people also say that it's good, but it's not. It's not inspiring like the other ones. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't going to sell. Like Eternal. Mary Wilcox says Doom the Dark Ages is extremely average from what I've heard. Yeah, thank you, Mary. That's more of a better term that I'm hearing, is that it's average. I'm hearing that it's average. For those of you that are piling in now, Yes, what you see on the screen is right. Let me make that. Let me change that a little bit. Shout out to the homie Geek to Sneak. He wants to do a giveaway, and that giveaway involves Death Stranding. He said he messaged me and said, "Yo, Moss, let's do something with Death Stranding where people will get to play it, because I'll get them a physical copy on PlayStation." And what else did he say? And he said he's gonna get you a Kojima t-shirt. God damn. Let me fix this. We're giving
y'all better have that fucking disk drive then.
Yeah, that is true. We're hold on. Let me fix it. We're gifting copy of Death Stranding. I want to make that smaller so it's not so weird looking. One lucky member to one lucky member join before it's too late. So here's how it's going to work, because Geek wants to run the Magic Wheel on the 10th. He wants to do the Magic Wheel on the 10th. So that means that you're going to have to be a member soon, because I don't know when the cutoff is. If we're doing the Magic Wheel on the 10th, let me see. When is the 10th? He might want to do the cut. I got to talk to him. He might want to do the cutoff. Let me see. The 10th is on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. So he might want to do the cutoff on a Friday. I don't know. I got to get that confirmation from him. But if you want to participate, it's going to members. It's going to be a members raffle. So you're going to want to hit the join button. Join at any level. We got some of the cheapest memberships out here, if not the cheapest. We got a $199 membership, and our most expensive membership is $399. So join at any of those levels, and you'll get included in the raffle. Now, of course, the higher tier that you select will determine the tickets that you get. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to some more of these comments. Mary Wilcox says, "You're welcome, MM2K. I appreciate that. Thank you very much." Hold on. What else? From what you have heard, you didn't play the game. I want the Xbox version next year. Of what? Death Stranding? You think an Xbox version is coming out next year? I would doubt that. Like, let me give you an example. Truck, now you're waiting a couple years for that, at least. PC's different. Them dummies think that they can fully leverage PC and put their shit out there on PC a year later. That's their dumb dog fault. Xbox is different. Like, PlayStation hates Xbox. Like, do you realize that? Did you not? Did you not catch the memo? PlayStation hates Xbox. Xbox, the platform. They can't stand Sarah Bowen. They could toss her into a volcano along with the trash ass series consoles. They would have been done it. They like Matt Booty and Phil Spencer when it comes to games, but they hate Xbox, the platform, bro. Prime example. That garbage ass Horizon Lego game. They ain't even put that on Xbox. That trash ass Horizon knockoff that Tencent is doing, that they clearly went to Hiroki Totoki and said, you know, we would like to make a Horizon inspired game off your IP. And Totoki said, sure, yeah. That's not coming to Xbox. Why? Because they said, as long as you don't put it on Xbox, we don't care. Patapon or whatever the hell that game is, and those 2 games that they're having remixed from their IP, but somebody, I think Bandai Namco is doing them. Those are not coming to Xbox. Like, they hate Xbox, bro. They hate Xbox with a passion. You're not gonna see Death Stranding till like maybe the PlayStation 6 comes out and shit. You're gonna get some years with that. It might be as little as 2. And my final example, which I think is closer to home, look at Stellar Blade, right? Stellar Blade is not a China Hero Project game like that. It's a game that they simply money had it during development. They struck a deal with them to say, we're going to help you promote this game on PC. We're going to even show it at a state of play. And there's still no Xbox announcement. That's not even a China Hero where they published it or anything. It's not even like that. And they still, within their deal, it cannot be on Xbox for X amount of. So yeah, if you're looking at third-party games that are money had it, you're waiting at least 2 years. Square Enix is like the exception. Because those dummies think, and fuck, the Square Enix games haven't come over yet. Now that I think about it, they're coming to PC, but they haven't come yet. You're not going to see the Square Enix games until they hit their 2-year mark, I believe. Who got blocked? Phil Boss says, Mary salute, why you get blocked? What did Mary get? Who blocked Mary? Not us. But yeah. Oh, J-Tech blocked you. Oh. Yeah, if you I don't block people unless you're not familiar with the channel. Like, you guys seen us. We've gone toe to toe with, shout out to Corey Mass. We've gone back and forth with Corey, yelled and screamed at him and shit like that. I don't block people unless you're like an asshole. And I don't mean asshole from like an argumentative standpoint. I don't care. I mean asshole like you're out here trying to throw out epithets at people, or you are trying to do some shit that you know would hurt the channel. You know what I'm saying? That'll get the channel reported. You do some shit like that, I'm gonna block you. At worst, I would just time you out if you were being super annoying. And I can't remember the last time I was that annoyed. I was like, oh, I'm gonna time you out. I mean, we may have done it as a joke and shit to pull people's chains, but yeah, I mean, this is J-Tech TV. Not sure if you, no, I know J-Tech. I know J-Tech. Mary, don't forget, I was on Broadband Bullies. With my new schedule, I might try to make an episode or two a month if I can. But yeah, I was on Broadband Bullies. So remember J-Tech came on there a couple times. You know what I mean? I would never do nothing like that. I ain't no troll. Yeah, no, I know, Mary. I just, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying to y'all is be very careful. Make sure that if you get blocked and you know you ain't done nothing, or if I haven't announced, I'm blocking you, because I'm gonna make it known. If you just get blocked all of a sudden, DM me. I thought I went through all of my, and I got to check it again. We had a situation like that on Cloud Dosage where somebody, it's not funny, somebody blocked my brother because I still don't know who done it, but they blocked Cold Blood over. Oh my God. They blocked Cold Blood over on Cloud Dosage like he really gives a shit. And And he was like, yo, bro, I'm trying to, talk shit in the chat and I can't talk. And come to find out, I saw his like profile and I'm like, oh, but what I did, which we don't do that no more, is, we used to give a lot of people not admin, but, the what do you call that shit? The moderator. Yeah, I don't know what the moderator rights. We used to give people mod rights if you were a longtime supporter, and I can't do that over there. They're too sensitive, and I'm not doing it anywhere else. If you're a long-term supporter, we might do something for members. You know what I mean? Depending upon your length of membership or whatever, we might visit that in the future. We might, but I can't do that anymore because people get sensitive. Like for instance, poor Trucknet, he would get blocked every damn day. So we ain't gonna do that. Yeah, but if you notice you get blocked, please message me and be like, yo, I got blocked. Because we might just have an asshole from way back when.
Yeah, Maltz, 2 week Mary Wilcox.
You said 2 week Mary Wilcox. What she say? She said, Phil Bosch, not gonna lie, J-Tech is talking about stuff that ain't even a big deal. I get he's worried, but he's really...
just do it as an example. How no, just do it.
Shout out the man of the hour. I was just talking about you, Geek, and your and see if we still doing the giveaway and stuff. Yeah, if you still did we was talking about the Death Stranding thing. But I was letting people know because they was acting a little funny at first. You know what I'm saying? They had like they didn't want to hit the like button. I'm like, well, I'll go to Geek and tell him no. You know what I'm saying? Then they woke the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, I want Death Stranding. Corey Massey, I think I heard my name. Shout out to Corey Massey. Yeah, we done had going back and forth with Corey. I don't block people. I was just letting people know, Corey. We don't block people. So if you notice you get blocked, please don't think we did it. Like, message us. Just make sure you message us. And but that's on me too. I got to make sure that I've taken all of the rights from people that had that access. Cause I got people from way back when that were serious X-bots that could just be dickheads one day and try to, block everybody. Shout out to Geek with the 13 months. Appreciate it, good brother, as always. All right. So let's get into it, man. Xbox. Let's talk about the Xbox news. Oh, as a reminder, unless Geek changes his mind, right now we're looking for people we're not looking for people. You have an opportunity rather to get access to Death Stranding, PlayStation hard copy, and my brother said he's throwing in a Kojima shirt. We're right now. It doesn't release until the end of June, but yes, sir, we're still on track. Okay, thank you, Geek. Appreciate it, good brother. So you hear it. You hear it from my brother's mouth. So what you're gonna have to do is you need to be a member. Join at any level, right? Unless Geek feels otherwise. Join at any level. And you'll be thrown in the raffle at the 10th. You gotta join. Now again, we don't know when the cutoff is gonna be because we're doing the raffle on the 10th. So you bet it's better sooner than later. You know what I mean? Shout out to El Nidi says, yo, MM2K Stellar Blade was amazing. I rebought it. Hey, bruh. I was thinking about that, but I want to finish it on PlayStation. I want that record because I know I would probably hop to the PC version because what's fucked up about it, Cold Blood was putting me deep. There's shit on the PC version that's free that we got to pay for on PlayStation. That's kind of fucked up. But PlayStation allowed it. We can get mad at Stellar Blade, which is kind of fucked up, but PlayStation allowed it.
No, bro, why the fuck is it always you get punished for getting a game early?
Early, yep.
Like these motherfuckers on PC now, they're gonna get the complete edition with everything in it.
Yep.
and they're gonna pay the same fucking price we paid at launch.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it should be a free gift for people that buy it. Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree.
They already pissed me off with the fucking Nier DLC, bro. Like that shit didn't even add anything gameplay wise, really. Just outfits, bro. And now they have some gameplay shit that they're gonna add to the one with the mobile game that they own, the collaboration.
Okay.
You gotta pay for that too.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't even give us the one for free that is your own fucking game, your own IP that you own.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
If I'm Sony, I'm like, look, bro. Because PlayStation put this on the map. Don't get me wrong. When it was Project whatever, people were interested. But PlayStation, let's be real here. And this is why I know people disagree with me. This is why I say the Game Pass deal helped Expedition 33. It didn't make the game great, but it helped them. PlayStation helped Stellar Blade. Without that PlayStation money, they don't polish it off the way that they did. And it's as great as it is. You gotta get the PlayStation people that shit that's in the complete edition. You gotta do it. But it does seem like that they're trying to nickel, this company's trying to nickel and dime, gamers for shit that normally don't get nickel and dime for. Yeah. But El Nini, it is a great game. It's my favorite game from that year. What was that, 2023? It's my game of the year for 20. I like fucking love that. Like when I'm playing that game, it puts, I know this may sound crazy, it puts me in a trance. Like, leave me alone. Don't fucking bother me. Stay away from me or I might chuck something at your face. I want to play this game. I want to soak in the ambiance and everything, and I don't want to be bothered. It puts me in that type of trance. I love that game. And that's why I haven't finished it, because games like that I really like, I take longer to finish because I really want to be in a space where I'm uninterrupted. I can really enjoy it, and I can just bustle through it the way that I like bustling through games. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that and Spider-Man, I definitely got it. Those are ones that I don't care what is available on the PC version, and I don't care what the cost is. I'm not saying this to you, El Nino. I'm saying for my personal taste. I don't care what it is, because I was thinking about double dipping for Stellar Blade, but I'm like, no, it just doesn't feel right. And I just sound like, somebody that's trying to carry a flag, but honestly, it just feels right. Like I should be playing this on my PlayStation. And I want that noted, because thanks to PlayStation, I got access to this game and I even know what it is, and it's as polished as it is. So I'm gonna play it on PlayStation. Mary Wilcox says, for a game like Expedition 33 to sell 3.3 million copies in a month from a new studio, talk about unheard of or until now, laugh out loud. Xbox is cheap, says Yadas. Well, we're going to get into PlayStation, because I know I got some old titles up there, but that was because we were supposed to do a show on Friday, and then I had to go out of town last minute. So, and then I was trying to find a time on the weekend, but it just didn't work out. So we're doing the show today. But there's some new shit that's happened that we're going to talk about. But let's talk about Xbox first. Let's get into it about Xbox.
Wait. By the way, if y'all not on Discord, bro, y'all are missing out.
Yeah, let me do that.
Seriously. Because that's where I do the fucking talks whenever Moss is...
whenever I disappear and shit.
when he disappears from the fucking grid for a while. I'm over there talking to everybody, like in the voice chat and shit. Yeah.
Like I was like breezing through, and I noticed that y'all had another thing yesterday.
Yeah.
Join the Discord. So yeah, so even
sometimes it's just a one-on-one, but I don't really care. Like if someone comes in, I'm gonna talk. We have some funny ass talks, bro. Like,
bro, yeah,
we've been talking about your we've been talking about your son yesterday.
My son?
Oh my god. Yeah. Me and Juice, bro.
Who?
Me and Juice. We've been talking about your son yesterday.
You took my actual son?
Yes.
Oh, what
oh no, it's Alex fanboy.
Oh yeah. Did I pin that in the thing? Okay, I did pin that. Okay, so you guys can see that where, yeah, he had his little phase where he thought, oh no, it's Alex was knew what the fuck he was talking about. now he's come to his senses and realized, okay, I
explained to Juice what kind of dude that motherfucker is.
Who, he don't know who oh no, it's Alex is?
Well, I told him a lot more than he probably knew about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, a lot of y'all don't realize, but I remember from way back, because Alex used to be with Kofi. You guys don't, if y'all don't go back that far. And so I remember him, he was not an Xbox guy at all. There's an infamous battle between him and Dealer where I give it to Alex. He actually destroyed Dealer, even though ultimately what he was claiming just didn't hold water as far as being able to build a PC. But, you know, when you're in a debate, it's not about, especially on the Crumb side, when you're debating on the Crumb side, it's not about facts, it's about how well you dress up your argument. And he destroyed Dealer. I remember because I was a big Xbox fan and I was like, yeah, Diller, get him, man. And Diller got decimated. That's why, and Diller didn't do any debates after that, because last generation debates were huge. And he destroyed Diller and destroyed Xbox. Now this generation, you know, it's everything is pro Xbox. We hate PlayStation. Take with it what you will. I don't even blame people like that. At first I was like, oh, people are being lied to. No, it's not that people are being lied to. People are stupid. And if you're stupid because you don't do any research and you don't vet what you're being told, you just take it because you see it right in front of your face, you're going to be taken advantage of. And maybe that's what you need to wake the fuck up. On the age of the internet, where all I got to do is hit record and speak, nobody should be taking anybody's word for shit. That includes me. You should be like, oh, I heard from Moss, da. Okay, and then just check it out. But I got people out here saying, I've seen somebody, oh, Alex is saving gaming. Huh? The banana suit? He said, these are people that just hear something, they want it to be true, so they fixate their mind on it and then they run with it. And if he's just pilfering you for your fucking money. Okay? It happens every day. You just got to be smart enough to decipher, if I really want to know what's going on, do I just look at this as a form of entertainment, or am I digesting everything I'm being told? And if you're going to digest everything that you're being told over something that's just purely entertainment, that's on you. I don't even blame these creators anymore. It's on you. That just proves your acumen and your ability to think. If you come across anything on the internet, it should always be vetted, even if it's coming from me. If you don't do it, you're a fucking dummy. I'm sorry. I can't like sugarcoat it and be sweet and hold your hand and walk you through the field and we pick lilies and put them in each other's hair anymore. I can't do that. So I'm not even blaming the creators anymore. I gotta blame the people that just digest this shit without vetting it. Period. Corey says, imagine being upset with the pricing of a game you can buy for significantly less on console via sales because they have to pay the launch price because they are just getting the game. I don't know. Was that directed at what you were saying, Cole? I don't know. Or am I misreading?
might be, but imagine me wanting to have the same shit these fucking PC dudes get now. I probably paid more for the just the standard game that they're gonna pay for this complete edition.
Yeah.
Imagine wanting a fair fucking deal. Oh my god, that's impossible with PlayStation, huh?
Yeah, I don't think that
cannot.
Go ahead, I'm sorry,
bro. No, I think the only guys that can get a fair deal is only PC dudes, because they can go and get a fucking key of this shit, bro, even cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And someone is gonna defend that, bro. Like, come on, why? Yeah. Why are you defending this?
Yeah,
this is just dumb.
Yeah, I think that's silly to sit there and feel like that. People shouldn't be concerned about that. We're like, yeah, like why are they getting that? And we help put you on the map. Like, can't we get that too? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, if Stellar Blade was a big ass flop, bro, it wouldn't come out on PC, bro. That studio would be done.
Yeah. It wasn't sure that they weren't a flop. And you got to remember too, that company was in dire straits. If you did the research, the publishers were in dire straits. They were a mobile publisher, then they were looking to go public and they couldn't because they just didn't have the funds. And Stellar Blade on PlayStation changed all that. Like, all their financial woes went away, and it was a complete 180 because of Stellar Blade on PlayStation. So why wouldn't I, as a consumer, look at that and say, hey, why we got to pay for that content when they're getting it for free, and they're getting it for free, and they're getting it cheaper than we got the base game for? I don't think there's anything wrong with people pointing that out and saying, no, that don't seem right. Doesn't mean that it ain't a great game, but you can have a great game and criticize it and criticize the practices that happened therefore. He said, so wait, you mad because the game wasn't on sale when you bought it a year ago, bro? What in the name of sentimental bullshit are you talking about? Yeah, I think you're projecting now, Corey. Yeah, you're making stuff
that is, bro, that is no making shit up, bro. I literally paid for the digital deluxe edition for this game. What are you talking about? No, what I said is, I don't feel like we are being treated fairly now. That we have to pay for these fucking DLCs on top of the price of the base game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Like, we didn't get a complete edition at launch. We didn't have that option.
And granted, a complete edition at launch, you can't do it at launch. I get that. But whatever's included in the complete edition, especially if you got the deluxe edition, okay, maybe not. I think it should be available for the standard. But if you got the deluxe edition,
yeah, like, I already paid more than the standard.
Yeah, like, come on, you can't get that stuff with the deluxe edition. You got to buy the whole game on a different platform again. Like, no, that's silly to me. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with pointing it out. It's not a topic, but I think it's something worth pointing out. Exactly. I shouldn't. Thank you, High on Life. High on Life, you know, we got to have ambassador awards. High on Life, huge PlayStation fan that's like, nah, I can't glaze them on this one. Thank you, High on Life. Exactly. I shouldn't have to pay for upgrades that the PC version gets later down the road, especially if you got the, what's it called, the deluxe edition. That to me, that's ludicrous. Now, I'm arguing, I'm not worked up about it, but I'm arguing that if I'm a brand new company and PlayStation gamers help get me out of the rut that I'm in, how about I throw them an extra bone because here's what could happen. The PlayStation gamers that didn't buy the game yet, they could see that extra bone being thrown and be like, oh, you know what? I'll get the game too. I like that move. I'll get the game too. So it actually, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're not only addressing any reputational risk with your product, which you create by doing this the way that you did, but you also increase and extend the olive branch to more people buying the game. Yes, I don't. Yeah, it's not about. If you got the deluxe edition, come on, you shouldn't be looking at across the street at the complete edition and be like, oh, you know, yeah, I think I should be getting that, but I'm not going to say anything. He says, bruh, the DLC have been out for a year again, so you mad that you didn't wait to buy it with all the DLC, bruh. What the action? Oh, come on, Corey, you're glazing. You're standing right under the ejaculation, bro. you got your arms extended and shit like Leonardo DiCaprio on the Titanic, bro. Come on, man. You don't want to seem upset. What the actual fuck? We just said why it included with the deluxe edition. Like if you're gonna make it free on PC, even though it wasn't free before, included. If you're gonna include it on PC, include it in the deluxe edition, which is more than a complete edition, mind you. He says, I always felt whether it would be a deluxe edition or a season pass, you'd be entitled to as a consumer. Yeah, I don't see. This is what I'm saying, man. I think as a consumer, I don't make excuses for companies to pilfer consumers. And I'm always going to argue on behalf, reasonably, I'm going to argue on the behalf of people being thoughtful of, you know what, let's show support to the consumer, especially when the consumer is responsible for pulling us out of the fucking shitter. Let's be responsible to the consumer. Because if we do that, that puts us in a better light. Let me give you a prime example. We got the whole debate about GTA 6 coming up, right? And is GTA 6 going to be $100? We got Strauss Zelnick playing around and acting like, hey, he might keep it at 70. If he keeps GTA 6 at 70, do you know what that does for the game? It's actually a better business decision to be mindful of your consumer. That's all. I can't glaze companies because they worked with PlayStation or whatever. I gotta call out those tendencies when I see it. It's a pattern, Corey. I can't glaze a company because they made it exclusive for PlayStation. And I love Stellar Blade, and I can't wait for the sequel to come out. I'm buying it day one, but I can criticize. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with his criticisms. Geek says PC usually gets the better version with the content and graphics after the fine tune. And that's fine, Geek. They can get, like, I'm not saying they shouldn't get the complete edition or the complete edition for them should be 80. I'm saying that at the very least, if you get the deluxe edition on console and you've decided to bundle that somewhere else, especially for a cheaper price, I think the people that got the deluxe edition should get it free now. That's an incentive. At very least, that's an incentive for someone to, even that already bought the game, upgrade to the deluxe, because you'll get whatever's in the deluxe along with this new shit that they just added to the deluxe. And history shows it's a great business decision.
You cannot tell me when they launched the game that they didn't plan on these fucking DLCs, bro.
Yeah,
they planned that shit in advance. Way in advance.
Yep. Yeah, this company.
And they could have said at least the deluxe edition should have had that shit included.
It's not the most
but they
egregious.
Didn't.
Yeah.
No, but they still penny pinched us, bro.
Yeah. It's not the most egregious example, but it is a penny pinching. It is a penny pinching. You know what I mean? So. All right. Now Xbox. Let's see. Let's talk about Xbox. All right, so Jez Gordon dampened the hopes. I guess Jez is tired of the L's. Hitting them in the face like boomerangs and shit like that. Old man Gaming Guru said GTA will be 60. Hey, bro, if GTA is 60, everybody and their grandma is buying it. Everybody and their grandma. And see, look, and here's another thing before we move on. Just look, like, you can make a business justification for what Xbox did. You can make it. Their consoles aren't selling. It's hitting them hard in the pocket. The tariffs are going to have a huge effect. They have no consumer incentive of keeping the prices the same. They just have none because nobody's buying the console. So instead of eating the tax on consoles that they're already losing money on, they got to raise the prices accordingly. You can make a business justification for it. But when somebody takes the consumer and considers the consumer amidst the perception of being pinched elsewhere, look what it's going to do. Corey, I want you to tell me, brother, I want you to tell me that you don't think that PlayStations are going to fly off the shelf with this price cut. They would have flown off the shelves even if Xbox didn't raise their prices. But the simple fact that Xbox raised the prices, so there's the appearance of the pinch. Nintendo's got $80 games out there, $90 games, and all this. Amidst everybody saying, yeah, it's going to be more, it's going to be more. And PlayStation actually dropping prices, bro. You don't think it's going to fly off even more? That's all we're saying and arguing. It's actually a smarter business decision. But yeah, in light of Xbox raising prices, there was a Jez Gordon. Let me see, Jez Gordon, new Xbox. There was an exchange where Jez had to let somebody know, look, man, PlayStation is not gonna let their games be playable on a new Xbox. And people been battling us back and forth about this. I remember, did he say that here? Oh yeah, I actually had, I can't remember if this happened during our conversation, but I remember when Paris, I don't know if we talked about it while he was here. We probably didn't. He had mentioned something about it, that he doesn't, that it can't be blocked or whatever, or that we're erroneously looking at what's going on with NVIDIA GeForce Now. But here's the problem. And I get that he's an ambassador too. We didn't talk about it together on the same panel, but we talked about it. But I was like talking about it on the stream and he was responding in the chat. Here's the problem. And yes, Paris is he's a NVIDIA ambassador. I'm not even an ambassador. But I have conversations with NVIDIA. I've had them. I've had meetings with them without being an ambassador. There were certain political reasons why I thought it would be best for me not to be quote unquote an ambassador, because of all the politics behind it with that sector of the cloud community. Oh, but that doesn't mean I ain't been in the trenches talking to NVIDIA. You know what I'm saying? So here's what I can tell you. Based off of what happened with NVIDIA GeForce Now, number one, PlayStation did have God of War 2018 available on the platform for a little bit of time. Now, we don't know if that was because it was a test sample for cloud gaming for them, or if they just felt like after some time it wasn't worth it. Like if they felt like there was going to be an exploit somehow or something like that, and they just felt like it wasn't worth it. They cut it off. They said, if you already purchased it and added it to your GeForce Now library, they're not going to revoke that. But after such and such date, nobody else is going to be able to buy, what's it called? And then buy God of War 2018 and play it via NVIDIA GeForce Now. And in addition, what they did is they eliminated your ability to load it up on Xbox. So here's what happens. And I'm not expressing the complete technicalities of it, but here's what I do understand. GeForce application can tell what type of device that you're on. The web browser can. If the web browser detects a certain application, it omits you from being able to play the game on said device. Now, every single device has it's not MAC address. I think it's some type of code that will tell you if a certain pre-built device is what. So I'm pretty sure, and I think this is what Jazz was confirming, that PlayStation would use that same capabilities and not allow PlayStation games on Xbox. And I totally agree with that. Let me see if I can find it. Jazz Gordon, new Xbox. I'll put no PlayStation. Because I thought I had a bookmark. Let's see here. And if anybody has the link to Jazz saying this, let me know. I just wanted to show it to you guys. But yeah, Jazz is Xbox will no longer have a permanent console. I wish I could. The search here on Twitter is just not as good as it used to be. Oh, I should put block. Jazz Gordon block. Hold on. Block.
Jess actually blocked me, bro. But
oh yeah, he blocked me too. Yeah.
But I never even interacted with his ass. So I don't know why.
He probably saw you with me and blocked you.
No, that was before I even came,
okay.
On the podcast.
Yeah, we don't have and that's okay, because look, man, I tell people, man, I don't play nice with liars. Like, if you lie, I really don't care about being nice to you. So there were a couple of situations where he had lied. One about Z, and then another thing about Destiny on Stadia or some shit. And I called him out on it. And I got blocked. But I got blocked before I even did the Destiny thing. I can't find this tweet. I remember as I remember correctly, the only Xbox exclusive was going for. Okay. I for some reason I can't find the tweet. But yeah, even Jazz had to call somebody out and say, look, man, this is not happening. PlayStation is going to be that petty. And this is why I say people don't understand. PlayStation actually hates PlayStation actually hates Xbox, the platform. PlayStation actually hates the Xbox platform. I gave you examples. So, PlayStation would be that petty. I know people are bringing up examples like, well, why would they care? Because it's a reputational risk for them. Meaning, they feel like, and you can tell in their actions, PlayStation acts like their brand would be sullied and so fucking downgraded if they do any business with the Xbox platform. So you can tell it hurt their soul to have to, in order to keep the MLB contract, that they had to make MLB for Xbox as well. You can tell that bothered the shit out of them. So that's why they didn't do it. But I'll tell you this much. If there was any chance that an Xbox device, at least if it's coming in 2028, if an Xbox device is going to have PlayStation, don't be surprised if they do block it. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. All right, so don't be surprised. Like, I'm not saying 100% certainty, but I agree with Jazz that it's not going to happen. But I think the argument is Sony even capable? And yes, they are. They're capable of doing it. They would definitely see what, not UPC, but what Mac or whatever it is, the device that they're working on. And they would go to the service provider, albeit GFN, albeit Steam, and say, or whoever it is, don't play our titles on said thing. And that's the end of it. You know what I mean? So, but what do you guys think? You guys think that it's possible that PlayStation would be allowed on PlayStation games would be allowed on the next Xbox console? Cobalt, what do you think about that? PlayStation games being allowed on the next Xbox console. Is it a possibility or is it more cope?
Or these bots better pray that the Snapdragon whatever ARM chip is gonna be fucking capable of running anything like that. Because really, bro, like right now, I don't see how a mobile chip is gonna run a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
But no, I think PlayStation is gonna be petty as hell and just block all that shit. They're gonna tell Steam, fuck that. do the GeForce Now on them.
Yeah. Totally agree. I totally agree.
Maybe Xbox cut a deal with PlayStation. That could be a thing, but I don't know about that. What kind of money would they have to pay PlayStation though to allow that shit?
Yeah, I know. Hold on one second. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Cold Blood? Or did I miss Cold Blood? Okay. Yeah, but they might be through G. See, here's the thing. If it's through an ARM chip, as Cold Blood was alluding to, they could use cloud capabilities. Xbox, I mean, PlayStation already showed you they've already disrupted cloud capabilities. Now, here's what you might hear, which again, all this is going to do is ruin this service for a bunch of people that on the low are enjoying it, and they're enjoying it without any issue. Okay, so there's Boosteroid. If you guys have not heard of Boosteroid, they're the independent streaming service headquartered in Ukraine that partnered with Xbox, was one of the people that was given the 10-year deals as far as streaming services were concerned. And what Boosteroid does is they do what is called like a local desktop service where you can sign on to an actual virtual PC like Shadow. Again, this is why I was trying to explain to Paris when he was in the chat. I studied all this. I know all this. I did content on it for 2 or 3 years. So I know how all this stuff works, more so than content creators that do mainstream content. I've studied this in and out. Shadow gives you a virtual PC in the sky. You can do cloud gaming there, but it's not the atypical cloud service where there's guardrails around the virtual server that you have in the sky or access that you have in the sky, and you can only game on it. With PC and then this install method of Boosteroid, you can actually use it use them like regular PCs, and they function. They got Windows installed and everything, especially Shadow. Shadow is really giving you a virtual PC in the sky. So let's just say if you need to run something with PC capabilities, but you got to do it from your phone real quick, or you got to do it from your Chromebook, something less powerful. You can get access to something more powerful, process the stuff on that virtual PC through your Chromebook. Your Chromebook and your phone is just a portal to give you access to that. So Boosteroid has a version like that. It's called the install method, where you can get a virtual PC in the sky and you can pretty much install anything on it, including games like Spider-Man. People have been doing that for a while now that have access to the Boosteroid service. It's a niche service, so not a lot of people know the ins and outs and the depths of it, but for that niche group of gamers, they're really invested in it. They like it. I've interviewed the Boosteroid people on like 3 different occasions. Twice with, shout out to the homie Vet. I've interviewed them twice with Vet, and then I did another interview, I believe it was with Jack, where they gave us access to free codes to their competitor to GeForce Now Ultimate, their 4K 120 version, right? And from what I understand, unless this changed, they're piggybacking their upgraded technology off of NVIDIA GeForce Now. They're using that technology to even power it, right? So therein lies the possibility, which Boosteroid has admitted to, that now while they're niche, a lot of companies don't care about the install method, including PlayStation. But they said at a moment's notice, somebody can go to them and say, we don't want you to let that game be installed on your installed method, because there's 2 ways you can play games. You can have a game that is fully supported by Boosteroid and it's pure streaming service, or through the install method. And they could say, well, of course, there are no PlayStation games that Boosteroid is allowed to stream directly from the streaming part, but you can install anything on the virtual PC. They admitted themselves, and I think in all 3 interviews that I've had with them, if somebody were to approach them and say, remove it, they're removing it. So you got some dummies out here that are saying, but Boosteroid can't be touched. And Boosteroid themselves have told you, no, we're not trying to ripple any feathers here. We're just trying to give people access to games that normally wouldn't have access to games. But believe you me, if Boosteroid gets big enough and they start making waves and people are like, yeah, you can play your PlayStation games on Xbox via Boosteroid, all that clamoring, all you're going to do is get those games removed from that group of people that are enjoying them and paid money to access them, and probably actually bought the game because they can play it on Boosteroid and they have no other way to play it. So I caution y'all that if you care about your fellow gamer, you're not going to try to use that for argument chips. It's the reason why they can let the game out, because PlayStation doesn't care right now. But if you make PlayStation care, they will care and they will remove the game. All right? So, but yeah, I'm in the mindset to where PlayStation very easily could. They've shown us how, and if they get that petty, they will do so. So, y'all just be very, very careful about what y'all ask for. Okay, now let's move on. And let's talk let's see here. Let's talk PlayStation news. So, yeah. So we got a couple things here. Number one, and we'll get this done with quick. PlayStation Stars is no more. And I haven't bought a lot of games on PlayStation, but I plan to now that I know that Stars is going away, and because I didn't quite understand the program. I'll be honest with you. Call me slow or whatever. I didn't quite understand how the program worked. But PlayStation Stars is going away, and people are upset and they're mad and they're like, PlayStation's effing up it again or whatever. But I've heard some other people talk about it and they're like, there was really no point in them. Well, there was no point. It was clear that there was no benefit to PlayStation in this because, like, the games come well after people even care about them, and all they were doing was using the points to get gift cards. And they were talking about how that clearly, like, Sony clearly had to be losing a significant amount of money on that, on the fact they were just giving away these gift cards. I didn't even realize you could get gift cards via PlayStation. That Stars. That's just how oblivious I am to all this. But people are upset, and I understand. I get it. Cold Blood, I'm curious. Did you use PlayStation Plus regularly? And whether you did or you didn't, what do you think about it going away for good?
What, PS Plus is going away?
Oh no, did I say PlayStation? I meant PlayStation Stars.
Yeah, I'm using Stars since its launch, bro. I got a lot of these gift cards, bro. So yeah, to me that's bullshit. That just tells you they are hurting for money. These motherfuckers are hurting for money. All this revenue they do, bro, it don't fucking matter. It's never enough for these motherfuckers. They are a soulless company. Nothing else. They don't care about you. And they show it time and time again. Like, you finally have a loyalty program. What you do with it, you fucking cancel it. Bro, I'm just disappointed. Like, that shit didn't hurt nobody. It was just a way to rack up some points and sometimes get a little bit of a boost for your next game, bro. Now that boost is gone, like, cool. Fuck you, PlayStation, I guess.
Yeah. I'm upset with myself that I didn't know that
I mentioned it many times to you, bro.
That you can get gift cards on there?
Yes, I did. Actually, funny story. Your fucking Stellar Blade, the deluxe edition was paid by it.
Mm-hmm.
The $10.
Oh, okay. Now, how much? What were the denominations of these gift cards? They were. How does the points work versus how much you would get back? I know it's different from country to country, but still.
It was no, it was the same for America and Europe. What was it again? If you got a game for $70, let's just say, you got 700 points.
Okay.
That's still not even enough for a $5 gift card.
Okay.
So that's why I say it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That everybody says, oh, they're doing great with money. Nah, if they cancel this shit because everybody is doing the gift card instead of their dumbest digital collectibles there, bro, it just tells me all I need to know. They are hurting for money. Like they will never stop hurting for money. It ain't happening. Even if they break the fucking record that will never be broken again, like 100 billion in one fiscal year or some shit, they're still gonna be hurting for money.
Yeah, I don't know if they're hurting for money. I think they're hurting for margins. Yeah, I don't think that they're well yeah, they're, and I saw Jack move. Shout out to Jack move. I saw that he put that out there. I'm with Porter Rock. That's hard to contemplate, because then explain the sale. Like, you don't have the sale. Like, if you look deep into why they're doing this, number one, it's Totoki. Totoki feels like that the gaming side is too bloated. That's why we got to pay attention to what he says and not just follow the headlines. He feels like that gaming is too bloated. He even said that he wants to cut down on the cost of the games, and they're looking to do that. He thinks that it's too bloated because he's ignorant to the culture. That's why I call him Phil Spencer Jr. This is Totoki. He's a money guy. So having a money guy be in charge of gaming is the worst thing you could possibly do, and Sony did it. So Totoki thinks that he's just cutting out the fat when he's actually hacking away at the meat, at the juiciest parts of the meat. Number one, and I'm thinking that you buy a game and you get enough points for a $25 gift card. That's how people were making it sound. But if you're only getting 700 points per game, you're not losing that much money. It was an incentive program so you buy games on PlayStation, and okay, why would you take that away? But that was Totoki. Notice how all this is, and again, this is why we got to pay attention to fiscal years. All this is happening in fiscal years. So why would you get rid of this program and lower prices for the console? Because to you, you're a money guy, you're a CFO. You like to see the green sheets and all this, the other things that list sales. Remember, they also talked about how they're going to go and report MAUs. This is strictly a CFO-minded company now, which is bad. CFOs have a place. They can do tremendous good, but there's some leadership roles you just don't give them, and this is why. So understand, this is all happening within the same fiscal year, pretty much probably the same fiscal quarter. And so they want to do a sale, of they want to drop the price of the consoles because they want to have more console sales out there. That's going to look good for the investors. And they're like, well, where can we cut back on in order to keep our margins respectable while we do this? Oh, we can cut back on the PlayStation. Fuck it. Fuck that program that everybody was loving. Fuck it. I can't say everybody because I didn't even know about it, but everybody that really invested in the PlayStation, fuck it.
Bro, they needed to do is just get rid of all the fucking bullshit in it. All these digital collectibles, all that trash, bro. Get that all out. Just let us accumulate points, and at some point let us buy some shit with these points. That's it.
Yeah.
You did not need a fucking team of people that are gonna go in there and make some fucking art for these collectibles and stuff. You don't need all that. That was just too much.
Well, they were that was their cheap way. They thought they could, which I think that's why I didn't, because I saw a lot of that shit. I was like, I don't care about this program. And I didn't even realize the gift cards were in there. But they felt like that was their cheap way of suckering you into buying the games, and you go get your little rinky-dink pieces of art that take them 30 seconds to put together. Some bullshit, right?
You know what it incentivized to? It incentivized everybody to buy digital instead of physical.
Mm-hmm.
And if you incentivized to buy shit digital, you are incentivizing them to pay the price you set.
Yeah.
Not some retailer does.
Yeah, that is true. And
But hey, I guess we robbed them fucking blind with these points or whatever. so they said, nah, we are done with this.
Yeah. I don't think.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't think it was that cumbersome to their bottom line. I just think he thinks he's trimming the fat. He thinks he's trimming the fat. This is why, and shout out to Jack Moo Johnny. I get you're frustrated. This is why I tell people, you have to do the research and understand where to point your frustration. PlayStation points is going away and I'm frustrated. Absolutely. Because it sounds like there's no reasonable explanation for it. But if I would caution Jack Moo, I would say, Jack, the reason that you're giving ain't it. It's Totoki. Everybody should be screaming from the rooftops, no, Totoki, no. Like it was Dora the Explorer. No, swiper, stop swiping. No, Totoki, stop the token. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but Totoki is not being paid to listen to your fucking irrelevant ass, right? He's only being paid to look at numbers and make them numbers look pretty.
Yeah, he as the company CEO, he has to be concerned with the company's reputational risk. So if that's why Concord got yanked so fast, because it was too embarrassing to PlayStation. That's why they have yet to. He don't care to put shit day one on PlayStation. You think Totoki cares about that? He would have been done it, but he knows how much reputational risk it would cause, so he has to lean into it. Now, he probably hates Xbox just as much as anybody over there, so he probably won't give into that, and there's really no financial benefit from it. Shit, if Xbox can't sell games on their own platform, why the fuck would PlayStation be able to do it? You know what I'm saying? So like, dude, that's not reliable. I don't think you got to worry about that. But no, he gets paid to pay attention to how the company is being viewed, and if it's being viewed too negatively, and is being viewed too negatively because of decisions that he's making, then he'll change his mind. But nobody's speaking up because everybody's splintered. They don't know who to point the finger at. There's some are over here pointing at this, some are over here pointing at that, some are no. The core is Totoki. The core is Totoki. If you don't like games as a service, now I personally understand
why they're approaching games as a service. But I can't speak for everybody. I can't make y'all be okay with something you're not okay with. So if you don't like their games as a service approach, understand why it's being pursued. It's not Nishino pursuing that. It's Totoki. It's Totoki. Totoki wants it because he doesn't understand the culture. He wants it. Why are games being coming day and date? It's Totoki. Closer to day and date on PC. Why is Horizon being pimped off at 50 ways? It's like 50 Shades of Gray. It's Totoki. And as long as PlayStation gamers don't educate themselves on just the very top layer of the business, they're going to get away with it. Because you got this group over here pointing at this group over here pointing at that. And this guy is slick. He's not dumb. He's just ignorant. Ignorant and dumb are not synonymous. He's ignorant to the culture, so he doesn't understand what makes the culture flourish. He's just looking at numbers, but he's not dumb. He's probably sat there, studied the habits, and studied the psychology. As I tell you all the time, we take modules on y'all. People in white collar society, we take modules on understanding what makes you think. So he's looking at data and said, oh yeah, these guys have the tendency to do that. And okay, all right, well, this is the plan that I'm going to move forward with. And as long as they're splintered and they're all over the place and they're distracted, it won't come back to me. He doesn't feel any pressure, any risk to do it because his name doesn't come up except for here. This is like the only place where Hiroki Totoki is being mentioned. So he doesn't feel any pressure. If PlayStation is the most integral part of Sony, if Sony consumers banded together and said to Toki, we don't like your idea on this, we don't like it, and they were unanimous in this, you would force him to be concerned about the reputational risk that he is causing for Sony, and he would back off. So Beyblade says Totoki doesn't understand the gamer. He even said Sony has no valuable IP. That is a great point. Here, let me see if I can get your comment up here. Totoki doesn't understand the gamer. He even said Sony has no valuable IP. Hello, Killzone and Twisted Metal would make great games as a service games. Come on. You don't think a Killzone sci-fi show? And again, I don't want to go out into the weeds, but Killzone would make a killer show. It would be better than Halo. Thank you, Faded Blaze. Totoki's the problem. So once we get unified on that and we recognize it, and hopefully we do it before it's too late. You can't be going into 2027 finally realize, oh yeah, that guy Totoki's, it's too late by then. His fangs are already too deep into the flesh of the platform. I mean, and yeah, if he does too horrible, PlayStation will toss him out, but after what damage that he's done, the board will get together and toss him out, but you know, after what damage has been committed. Muhammad Rahman said, who will make the Killzone and Twisted Metals? Well, I'll say this, Muhammad, which is a good question too. But they look, if they can find people to make God of War MMOs and crazy shit like that, I think they can find someone that could, you know, do Killzone, revise Killzone or whatever. But they have IPs. You could have argued before 2018 it was time to sit God of War on the shelf. I think the last God of War before 2018 released, I think it didn't do well. I could be wrong about that. But God of War was starting to lose its luster. And then until the reboot. Then the reboot set it on a path that we could have never imagined. Never. So, yeah, there's you got IPs and you got story settings, landscapes, characters that you could just, brush up and then redistribute under different style of gameplay, like God of War 2018. There's endless. You got great stories and stuff that was created there. Like, even though I didn't enjoy the gameplay on some of those games back in the day, the stories were compelling. So in the time period where you got TV series, but again, he does not understand the culture. Always be Larry. Like, the only exec that I think can get away with this shit, but I think he can get away with it because the IP that he owns is just so powerful, it doesn't even matter if he's a gamer or not, is Strauss Zelnick. Like, I'm not that impressed with Strauss. I think he knows how to manage the money aspects of it, but he came out on CNBC the other day and was like, I'm not a gamer. I've not played the game. Like, who, me? He's the only way that can get away with it because the power of the IP, and I think he has good leaders in those subdivisions to where he can get away with that shit. But outside of that, he's no good. And I don't think you could put Strauss Zelnick anywhere else and he succeed. He's succeeding at Take-Two because he knows how to stay out of the way. That's what Strauss is good at. He knows how to stay out of the way. But he's the only one that can get away with this. Having someone in charge of gaming, even at the Sony CEO level, that is ignorant to the culture, is harmful to that service or product. And we're seeing more and more of it. First it was Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer. Oh my God, I don't even. Phil Spencer, he knows about the culture. He doesn't know what works within the culture. But first it was Satya Nadella. Then you had the head of Google, trying to get into gaming, and him. I'm not a gamer. Well, that discovered later that that was dead in the water. And then now we got Totoki leading Sony and influencing PlayStation, and now we got this mess. Muhammad Riot says, I can't wait for Redfall 2. You got to talk to Snap Blast Play. That bro keeps putting out that same old clip. Redfall 2 was just piled on. No, it was a trash ass game. Let it go, bro. Like, Game Pass people are actually giving Game Pass some flowers. They actually got some games that, people are like, this ain't bad. It ain't considered Xbox slop anymore. Let it go. Redfall is just trash. It's trash. It belongs in the same category as Dark Sector, and I keep forgetting the other game, Rogue Warrior. It goes in the bin with those games. Some of the worst games of all time. Now, Phased Blaze, I'm going to push back on that. Here's why. And hear me out. I've been studying this since 2017. Because granted, for those of you that have heard this before, I apologize. But for those of you that haven't, here's my history here on YouTube. I was a hardcore Xbox fanboy. Unapologetically, Xbox fanboy, right? I used to write articles. Me and my brother was like real big into, we were huge into video games. We had an apartment together. We was playing games, but we just grew up on games, period. We were huge into video games, and our fandom of games got so big, it spilled over into us talking and actually looking up stories on games. So we started something called the New Age faction. And Age was an acronym for Accountable Gaming Experience. We felt like that it was time for consumers to be more informed about gaming, what's going on, the whys and the whats and whatever, to help us make better purchasing decisions, right? And it came about because we started seeing the rise of these publications. GameSpot was going through something, IGN, that didn't do their research and was just making all types of goofy articles and shit about gaming. We wanted to expose the bullshit and actually get you closer to the truth, regardless of what you like. So we started New Age Faction. You could probably find remnants somewhere, right? So we did that. And I was writing articles for a while. That my brother got out. He's like, he moved to another state. I was like, okay, that was cute while it lasted. I'm the fuck out of here, right? And I kept doing it. I was writing, doing little shit here and there, just like, you know, for like little small places. Very small. You never heard of them. They were, you know, people trying to come, independent things that never, that fizzled out, right? And I was like, you know what? I think I can do this YouTube thing. It was after seeing a couple of podcasts and stuff like that and seeing the rise of PlayStation 4. I'm like, in my opinion, PlayStation 4 is overrated. This is at launch. PlayStation 4 is overrated, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to show you guys the PlayStation 4 is overrated. That's why I started my YouTube channel. This very channel right here that we're on. I would have never imagined 8 years after the fact that now I'm like, I throw up in my mouth every time I hear Xbox. and I'm a huge fan of PlayStation. I would have never imagined that would have ever happened. I had an Xbox went with me wherever I went for so many years. Now, what does that got to do with anything? The tea in China. I studied Xbox thoroughly. I studied Xbox and Phil Spencer's rise on Xbox. Didn't understand who the guy was at first until I started making content. Then I looked at his history. Phil did not save Xbox. That is the hugest misinformed outlook on Phil's tenure period. The Xbox brand was saved, quote unquote, was kept intact by Satya. Here's how. When Satya took power, again, he's not a gamer. He's not tethered to Xbox. It means nothing to him. He doesn't care. Now, after he said what he said about him not knowing if Xbox was going to stick around, he went to Phil and said, why should you exist? And Phil was able to show him that it was worth giving it a try of keeping Xbox, because he would be able to fulfill Satya's vision. Satya's vision is simply cloud and subscription. But he was like, why should you exist? What also swayed Satya was you, the gamer. See how this is tethered to Roki Totoki? When you, the gamer, started talking up in clouds, no pun intended, and was like, oh no, Xbox is going to get rid of video game. They heard that. So in combination with this guy, Phil, that people liked at the beginning, and the fact that you were making noise and causing, again, reputational risk to Satya's name before his seat was warm, he said, because remember, he had to answer that. I'm not making this shit up. Remember, first he said, because he didn't understand the culture, he didn't care. I don't consider the Xbox part of the mainline business. I don't consider it that. Remember, he was saying that. Then y'all made all that noise. And then he comes back and he says, well, you know what? I haven't made a decision on Xbox. It's important to us. It's important. Why would he go from that to that if his mind was already made up and Phil fixed it? It was you. And I know it was you, not only because of the chronological order of events, but I've done this for 25 plus years. When you go to sully or soil an exec's name like that, especially at the beginning of their tenure, they are fearful of that. This is the best time before their image is cemented for you to rock the boat and make a difference. So this is why I say you need to speak up for Hiroki Totoki. It worked for Xbox. So many people make so much noise, he backed up a little bit. Then he approaches Phil Spencer and reminds you, I know this. How do I know this? Because I did my research. Paul Thurrott, the all-foremost think tank on all things Microsoft and Windows, exposed this in 2017, 2018. How Satya went to every single business sector owner and said, why should you exist? And when Phil responded, he liked what Phil pretty much said, whatever it is that you want, we can make it happen. So the first test is ring, 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 ring. Hey, Phil. Yes, Satya. You want to buy Minecraft? Hold on. I was playing Phantom Dust with the original assets. Hold on. Let me put it down. What was that again? Would you like to buy Minecraft? Oh, that would be awesome. Satya, thank you. They successfully get Minecraft. The rest is history. Now they just made this big deal. Xbox isn't going anywhere. Satya spearheaded that. He wrote about it in his book. I can't remember if Phil had erroneously deceived people and made it seem like it was his deal, but Satya wrote it in his book. He was confronted about that fact at Fortune magazine, the infamous Fortune magazine Phil Spencer interview. It is a piece of art. If you haven't seen that interview, you need to go watch it. He was confronted about that in the infamous Fortune magazine interview, and he admitted that I think it was Satya. He was bumbling all over the place, but he, in a roundabout way, he came to the fact that it was Satya's idea. They got Minecraft. Xbox isn't going anywhere as of yet. We're going to build on this because it's about subscription and cloud. And they kept building and building and building. And the impetus of them going elsewhere and being on other platforms, it was always there. That was always Satya's vision. The only thing that Phil did is the only thing that Phil kept alive is them trying to be competitive. Satya had a soft spot for, let's see if Phil can make them competitive. Let's see if it can happen. And he realized that by letting Phil continuing to press this envelope about them competing with PlayStation, it ended up hurting them. Why? Because the APK deal was so cumbersome for them, because the prior deal, which was Bethesda, he let Phil handle it the way that he wanted to handle it. Remember, when they got Bethesda was still supposed to remain multi-plat. Starfield, Redfall, all that dog shit, whatever. It was supposed to remain multi-plat. And remember, Tim Stewart said, no, it's not about, being exclusive to Xbox. It's about maybe first, better, or best on Xbox. You can expect that. And when that didn't happen because Phil intervened and said, no, I want everything to be exclusive. This is for, and remember he did the show, this is for exclusivity wherever Game Pass is at. Remember the emails came out in the FTC trial. What? Even Tim Stewart was shocked. Pete Hines was upset at Phil. Said that he claimed that Phil put, what's his name? The maker of, or the lead developer at Bethesda. I don't know why I'm losing his name right now, but said that he was putting him in a bad place because he had to do interviews and this would be news to him while he was out on the road. Remember, that shocked everybody. So after that shocked everybody, that led into the Activision Blizzard deal, because remember, Activision Blizzard didn't get originally blocked because of PlayStation. They threw PlayStation's claims out. It got blocked because of what? The cloud. How was the cloud able to block it? Because a cloud company in the name of Google went and snitched to the regulators, as I feel like they should have, because the Bethesda deal, when Microsoft bought Bethesda, they cut off all access to Google. they were working on a partnership for something called Project Orion. It was supposed to enhance Stadia, and it's rumored that that was integral in bringing Stadia to 4K 120. And then they had partnerships on deals. Remember, Wolfenstein Youngblood was there, and they were going to work on some other games there. They completely cut that off after indicating that they were going to keep things multi-plat. Google was able to successfully take those events and say, look how they screwed us over with Bethesda. They would screw all the other cloud platforms over with ABK. And the regulators agreed. All of them agreed, even the EU. The problem was with the EU worked hand in hand. Microsoft knew it was going to be a problem when they saw the snitching from Google. So what they did is they in advance worked with the EU on a plan to make it appear that they weren't going to do anything shady. They made plans with the wrong people, because even though they made plans with the EU, the other group that blocked it, they weren't with it. They didn't like the plan. And that's why ABK has become such an albatross for Xbox now, as far as how expensive it was. They don't even have their own cloud rights for any of their games. All this crazy shit to where, you again, remember people rumoredly said that if Xbox had to, or Microsoft had to do it all over again, they wouldn't get ABK. Now they're raising prices. They're all over the place now. They're seeing success with their games on PlayStation. They've had to completely capitulate and bend the knee to PlayStation in order for them to survive. And that's not what Satya wanted. That's not what Phil wanted. Satya wanted them to thrive on Game Pass in the cloud. Phil wanted them to thrive on just simply beating the snot out of PlayStation. And none of that happened. And because they got such this big ass freaking purchase, they've had to capitulate to PlayStation. So, I got to push back on that narrative, Fatal Blaze, because I understand why you may have thought that, because that's what everybody just unanimously says that, but they don't do the research in the gaming community. They don't. That's why I said you got to vet everything that you hear. Phil did not save the Xbox brand, and because really, when you think about it, the only thing that saved is Xbox in name only. They did not save the Xbox brand. What saved the Xbox brand was your cries when you heard that Xbox was going to get sold off or dissolved. He actually pulled back a little bit. You're like, oh, there's a bunch of damn nerds out here. Holy shit, Sherlock. He pulled back a little bit after that. And when Minecraft was purchased, that cemented the Xbox brand. Now, Phil could sit there and say, now, Satya probably said, yeah, tell people that you're behind it. I don't want to. I mean, they like you, I guess. Fuck, I don't give a fuck about them. They like you. Go tell them that you rushed into my office. Imagine you rushed into my office and told me, is it going to be gaming or what? And I listened. I cowered under my desk, Phil. Tell them that shit. If Phil was like, okay. But the most substantial business actions that cemented Xbox the brand was the purchase of Minecraft and you saying, oh, hell no, you're not getting rid of our Xbox. And that shocked the hell out of him. And he had to come back out and pull back his words because he didn't realize how popular it was. He had did some things on the periphery. He had worked on trying to get Minecraft before he became CEO. He was, they had talked about it before, but he's just looking at this from a topical level. He see how the launch was so disastrous for Xbox. He's thinking, because again, he's not a gamer. He's not embedded in the culture. He doesn't realize that Xbox at that point just simply lost its edge, and it was like a 60-40 split in the favor of PlayStation. He didn't understand that. He thought that the brand was completely tarnished and nobody gave a fuck about it until he opened up his mouth and found out, oh no, there's still a whole bunch of people that gave a fuck about it. But that 60-40 went from 65-35 and 70-30 and whatever, it easily went away after Phil's tenure and his failure during his tenure. as a platform. So they've gone full circle and pretty much done what Satya wanted them to do as well. He wanted them to put their games on it because that's what Microsoft is. If you're going to buy shit a la carte, you can buy it a la carte anywhere. But he wanted Xbox to thrive like all other Windows business thrives on subscriptions and cloud. And it's not thriving off of that. Phil Spencer, Fade Blaze says Phil Spencer is not as bad as Jim Ryan. Fade Blaze, I don't know what you mean in that regards. I don't know what you mean as far as bad. Do you mean personality wise? Like, I will say that Jim Ryan didn't care about, what do you call that? About mindshare. He didn't care about, doing things for mindshare. Like he just snapped them out of E3 quickly. He didn't care about doing regular showcases to keep you abreast of the biggest and baddest coming to PlayStation exclusively. He didn't care about that stuff. He wasn't real big on mindshare. He just said, we're going to let the product and the game speak for itself. And he wasn't the most accessible. So if you call that bad, okay, sure. Okay, so here's the problem with that approach. He says, tell me what's worse than buying Bungie or taking 12 games as a service. I'm going to address Bungie last. He didn't tank 12 games as a service. He went for games as a service. Here, let me show you guys something. I feel like Faded Blaze, you might have some Xbox rhetoric. Let me see that you might have come across that's giving you some bad impressions. What the hell? Hold on. Uh-oh. That's weird. Okay. Business Insider looks like they're out of business. Let me try something else. Sony. I gotta show you something. Okay, here it goes. All right. Voila. He had 12 games as a service. No. Maybe let me go to somebody else. Here we go. Markets Business Insider. Okay. Sony loses $20 billion in market value after Microsoft massive deal to buy Activision Blizzard. So they lost $20 billion in evaluation overnight, just by the deal being announced. Why did that happen? Because Activision Blizzard had at least two important games on its roster that made a lot of money for PlayStation that were in their top 10 games. That was Call of Duty, of course, which is number one, and then Overwatch at the time were within their top 10 and brought in a lot of money for PlayStation. And they were going to lose that access to that if it went exclusive. That was everybody's bet that, Microsoft was going to make this exclusive. So they lost $20 billion in stock evaluation. That's a lot of money, and companies can tank off of losing that much money just in your evaluation. It was so bad it took Sony a year to get that money back in the market. The board was in a panic. The board said, is Microsoft planning to make this exclusive like the analysts believe? Jim Ryan said, no. Microsoft clearly wants to, get into publishing more. I don't think it's worth it, but no, they're going to leave the games on PlayStation. They'll see we make too much money for it. Now, remind you, people like Jim is more familiar with what Satya is looking to do. It was written all over the wall that Satya wouldn't pull this from PlayStation. So they're thinking Satya's the boss. They're not going to do it. He was wrong. Satya was bending, as far as exclusives was concerned, to what Phil wanted. And that's why Phil sent him a letter saying, we're only going to give you everything for 6 years. After that, you got to figure it out. Once Jim started seeing that Phil was playing hardball, unlike what they suspected, he went into a panic. He realized, holy shit, we're going to lose a whole bunch of money because we just lost $20 billion off the deal just being announced. If this actually goes exclusive, we're going to lose more just in the market alone. We can't sustain this. So that's why when he said we can't sustain this, that's what he was talking about in the FTC trial. But people took it a different way. Anyway, he did go into a panic. I feel like ill-advised he bought Firewalk. I feel ill-advised he bought the other studio. What was that? Jade Raymond studio, right? And then you had the other games that were substantially canceled or whatever, right? I don't know if it, and I don't think it's 12 total. He went and he did 12 total. I think there's Helldivers, there's GT7, and I think there's 2 left. So I think there's like 8 that we've seen fail or on the brink of failure. And we don't know what Fair Games is going to be, even though Fair Games sounds like it needs to be reworked. Marathon looks like it's a disaster. So right now we know of 6. We know of 6 that have completely crapped the bed. Either they haven't come to fruition, they've been canceled, or they've done jack shit. We know of 6. 2 have been successful. And then 4 more, we don't know where they're going to end up at, if my numbers are right. So I think we definitively know of 6 that failed. And 4 out of that, or a couple of Concord, and Concord definitely didn't need to be a failure because they should have never been purchased. So I do believe there was some panic there. But them pursuing games as a service, they had to. And them pursuing Bungie, I don't think was a horrible move. I think that what happened as far as letting Bungie keep its management intact for as long as they did was not smart. But here's what you get with Bungie. You get the Destiny IP. And I know the Destiny IP isn't as big as it once was. It's now out of the top 10 for Sony. I think it's like in the 20s, right? But you get that IP. It's just that IP is very valuable. And then too, you get the resources from Bungie. Look, hate them or love them, Bungie has over 10 years of experience of what works and what doesn't work with live service games. So even if they do something stupid like Marathon, which was clearly something that the stupid leadership decided to do to ride their time on out into the sunset so they can get their last amortized payment. It's a cash grab. That's all it is. And they're doing that so they can get their last amortized payment and get the fuck out of Dodge. Let them go. You don't need the leadership, but the developers and stuff there, they are invaluable. They have value in understanding of what to do with live service that nobody else has. Okay. So they're very valuable. You add into just to show how valuable they are. They're the ones that told Naughty Dog, don't do factions, because if you do factions, you're going to be doing factions forever. You're going to turn into a live service company. And if you follow Destiny at the time was 850 employees. They still had to out-contract a lot of their development. So do we want a Naughty Dog that just works on factions all day, or do we want the Naughty Dog doing the narrative-driven stories that we love for them to do? Here's what I will fault Jim Ryan on. They should have never made the incentivization. Hey, look, if you guys want extra money for your studios, do a live service game. That's where Jim Ryan fucked up. He did fuck up there. But Faded Blaze, as much as Jim Ryan fucked up, on Jim Ryan's worst day, it's better than Phil Spencer's best day. They went from getting their ass kicked last gen to getting their ass shredded under Phil Spencer. He's the one responsible for the ABK deal going so wrong for Microsoft. Game Pass doesn't hit its limits. Game Pass's numbers were so bad that Satya had to remove them from his compensation package when he got evaluated. That's how bad it was. There's nothing good about Xbox except them putting their games on PlayStation. That's the only thing. As a matter of fact, so you can attribute Jim Ryan to the survival of Xbox. Because when they started sending those kits over behind the frosted window, guess who was signing off on that? Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan is a better CEO for Microsoft than Phil Spencer is. Shout out to Lido Balgin. Thank you, Lido. I appreciate it, good brother, for the membership. Oh, no. Juice gifted a membership, and he gave it to Lido. Lido deserves one. Lionel, you're going to want to, I think you're going to be invested into the content, the members' content I did today. Don't miss that one because you were there for the stream that it's associated to. But anyway, Jim Ryan was a better CEO for Microsoft than Phil Spencer was, because Microsoft is only alive because they're selling games on PlayStation. That's it. That's it. Yeah, they're still in a lawsuit. Absolutely. They're still in a lawsuit. I'm not saying Bungie is perfect, but Sony will settle, because these are not big conglomerate companies that they're going against. They're going against individual, you know what I'm saying? They'll settle, and that'll be the end of it. And it'll go away. But Bungie is invaluable because, again, look at your screen, Faded Blaze. You're not going to hear this on those Xbox podcasts because the Xbox podcast is designed to keep you in the dark, so you're out there, so you have this false sense of hope, and you keep giving them money. They are plaguing on your ignorance. And when I say your ignorance, I just mean the community's ignorance. For those of you that think that Xbox still has a fight in them, they're plaguing on that ignorance. That's all they're good for right now. That's why I said I can't get, at some point in time, when is the community going to wake up? Look at your screen. Just off the deal being announced, they lost $20 billion. What do you think would happen if the exclusivity deal would have actually went through? So PlayStation said, hold on, we got to control our own quote unquote destiny. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure, because the top 20 games are over 80 to 90% of them. The top 20 games that are consistently played on PlayStation are overwhelmingly games as a service. Overwhelmingly games as a service. PlayStation said we have to control our own destiny by making sure that at least 3 or 4 of those games are ours. Because at the time, opposite of GT7, they had none. Now, mind you, when they had GT7, Helldivers 2, and Destiny all doing their thing, PlayStation, started breaking records and started, seeing some uptick. But I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand why they had to pursue games as a service. Half of those games were mismanaged. Absolutely. And then here's the thing of it too. Games as a service is a tricky thing. Sony operates, even with their single player games, they operate at a 60% failure rate. Meaning, we know 60% of the games that we put out there are not going to reach their financial, ceilings that we need them to. But 40% will do so good because we're willing to take risks and find that diamond in the rough. 40% will do so good they'll pay for that 60 that failed. So right now, half of their games, their attempts failing, isn't the end of the world. When you look at Helldivers 2, Helldivers 2 is doing well enough for 2's games as a service titles. If Sony can get 2 more games, if they can get Destiny back up there, and they can get 2 more games that they can control in their games as a service top 20, they're good. Even if the others fail. That's a total of 4 games. 4 out of the 12. All they need is 4 out of the 12 to be successful. They're Gucci. But they understand the success rate at games as a service. So you can't look at that and say, oh, this is horrible. But I'm not saying it's perfect. They definitely mismanaged it. And this is the biggest problem with their games as a service stint. 2 things. Number 1, they bought unproven studios. Bungie, I think it was fine. I think Bungie will end up becoming a diamond in the rough in the long term. Once you get that leadership out of there and you absorb them into the service of live center excellence that they built, you absorb them into that, get rid of that leadership, they're going to end up becoming more beneficial than an Albatross, definitely. But you shouldn't have bought Firewalk. You shouldn't have bought Haven. No, absolutely not. Those were horrible decisions. But Jim Ryan panicked. I'm not going to doubt that Jim Ryan fucked up there. But Jim Ryan's worst day is better than Phil Spencer's best day. I'm sorry. What has Phil done successfully? Nothing. His success is attributed to him putting games on PlayStation. His PC day and date tactic didn't work. How he delivered on Game Pass nothing this guy did work. His approach to the console didn't work. His approach to the cloud didn't work. Nothing worked. The only thing that worked was that was semi-successful was the selling of controllers. That's it. Everything he did was a failure. You can look at Jim Ryan and you can point out where he failed, but also PlayStation was breaking records with a supply restraint at that. The Portal is successful. Games were selling. They're making more money. The only thing that hurt Jim Ryan, I think more so than the games as a service, was the margins because it cost them more to particularly make the hardware. But Jim Ryan's worst day far exceeds Phil Spencer's. You gotta admit, Phil Spencer, he's living a little bit comfortably now, but why? Because Jim said, okay, you can put your games on our console. If Jim doesn't do that, I don't know how much longer Xbox exists. Prince Philip said they went too hard on Game Pass. Yes, it's not that they went too hard. Game Pass in theory is not a bad idea. It's just in order for it to work, your shit has to be stellar. And look, if Game Pass had PlayStation level games in it, oh my God, it would have been the darling. The industry has changed. It's flipped upside on its head. Why? Because if they have PlayStation level games coming day and date and Game Pass, oh my fucking God. Game Pass is soaring. It's reaching that 100 million subscriber. And what's happening is it's influencing the industry. Now everybody's got to have a Game Pass. You got to have one, or I'm not even fucking with your service. And guess what? The rest of the industry can't do that. So guess what happens? Everybody plummets, and then everybody has to rely on Xbox. If you want your game to do anything, you got to put it in Game Pass. You got to put it on the Xbox. And see, the reason why Microsoft was poised to do that is because there's going to be a lot of loss leading before that happens. You're going to lose a whole bunch of money, but once you start getting into the 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 million subscription range, then you start making that money back. Then it starts making sense per the cost of making the game. Then the numbers start jiving and just start making money. But nobody else could absorb those losses until you get to that subscription count, except Microsoft. Microsoft could absorb that. So Satya's idea wasn't bad in theory. He just needed a head of gaming to do his part. What was his part? Create great games. And Phil couldn't tell you what it takes to make a great game to save his ass. Phil didn't do his part. That's why Game Pass fell. It was a crazy initiative, but Satya was willing to loss lead on it. Just like I remember how Disney, at first, before everybody started shitting on Disney, how when they had good content, The Mandalorian and all that other shit, they said, we're going to lose $1 billion. And then we're going to start making that money back. And remember, they started making that money back faster than they even anticipated. And Disney Plus was the darling for a while until their content started going crappy. But imagine if the content never got crappy. That's it. Disney Plus was thriving because its content was great. So all Satya needed Phil to do was provide great content, and Phil couldn't do it. Again, Phil Spencer's best day is leagues behind Jim Ryan's worst day. Phil, by far, is the worst gaming CEO ever. Ever. He can only live comfortably because his competition said, yes, you can eat out of our fridge. Mary Wilcox says, I think Prince Philip meant games as a service in regards to PlayStation. Oh, okay, my bad. My definition of modern gaming is basically $80 games, repeat of same ideas and microtransactions with gaming entry prices. Says Faded Blades. But Faded Blades, if that makes sense. Again, I wasn't, I understand where if you heard that content from certain creators where it could sound like it makes sense. But like that's why I said we got to get in the habit. We got to start vetting the shit that we hear because it's bullshit. People just get on the internet and they lie. And it's easier to tell a lie and just keep you packed into this siloed room where the lie just circulates than it is for them to get up and do what we do here. Like before my schedule got changed and I had to go back on site, I was spending hours. Before I would spend 2 hours prepping for a 2-hour show because I'm doing my research. Fuck, they don't want to do that shit. They want to just get on the mic and, hey, PlayStation sucks. That's all they want to do. We're doing the research. That's why everything that either Cold Blood or I have said have come to fruition. Pow! Right there, right in front of you. And why they are just sitting there now, they're quiet as much church mouses now because everything they said, oh no, the ABK deal was only, or them talking about going third party was only ABK. All that dumb shit that they said, now they're quiet church mouses. We got to get wise to that and we got to say, oh, this is entertaining content, but I'm not falling for this bullshit. I'm not listening to this shit. I don't blame them for that. Because if you're going to be dumb enough to leave your wallet open in the middle of the highway, if somebody just pulls over and pulls out the money, that's on you. Why wouldn't they pull over and pull it out? Integrity? Huh? The internet is about integrity? Stop. Is he worse than Don Matrick? Absolutely. Absolutely. Why? Because Don Matrick knew the importance of making powerful exclusives. His problem was, guess who was the guy that was in charge of getting those powerful exclusives? Phil Spencer. Do you see a pattern? Don Matrick wanted to invest more and more. Remember they had that exclusive with Obsidian and all the other stuff that they had to back up out of? The problem was his guy to fetch the games was Phil Spencer. Do you see the correlation? Now, I'm not saying Don Matrick was great, but he was better than Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer doesn't know what it takes to make a great game. This is the same guy, people, that told you that Crackdown 3, he played it, and it's to the quality, and so I'm paraphrasing, the quality that Xbox gamers deserve. He is the guy that plucked Redfall 2 out of the garbage and said, I am going to lead off of XO19, I believe it was, and I'm going to highlight Redfall, which was one of the worst games we've seen in about a decade. Huh? Far worse than Don Matrick. And again, I'm not saying, bring back Don Matrick. Now, I would rather not have any of them. But if you're asking me, what's worse, chugging the can of shit or swallowing a cup of piss? Well, okay, the cup of piss is less worse, but they're still bad. But yeah, I acknowledge that they're still bad. But in this case, in that scenario, Don Matrick is the cup of piss. Phil Spencer is just a can of shit. Yeah, he was the head of studios. Xbox, he was the head of. I want to show y'all the chart, but we got to get out of here. One last thing I want to talk about because I got it in the title. I got to mention it. Cold Blood. I don't know if he Cold Blood probably passed out. Like, man, what the fuck? Like, this dude don't end. But I ain't talked to y'all in a while.
Exactly. What the fuck are you talking about?
I ain't talked to him in a while. I couldn't help myself. What do you think about this Borderlands thing? Real gamers, then him trying to clean it up later. Real fans will buy it for $80, and then people actually are now defending him about this take. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's right. Only your fucking fans are gonna buy that shit at 80. The ones that just cannot wait to play another fucking Borderlands.
Borderlands, yeah.
Those are the only ones that will pay that fucking price.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, you dumbass. but bro, actually, his fucking job should be to get everyone else on board, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
But he's just gonna address only the 10% of gamers out there that are interested in the fucking Borderlands.
I don't even know if it's 10%.
Man, you gotta be dumb as hell. As a CEO, to say that, you gotta be hella dumb.
Yep. And you're talking to somebody who, I am a Borderlands fan, but I understand the limitations of that platform. And then I'm looking at 4 and there are no quality of life additions. It looks like Borderlands 3.5 or 2.5, really, if we're being honest. You want to charge me $80 for it? No. And I was a huge Gearbox fan all the way back to Brother in Arms. Yeah, I'm telling my age with that one. I'm a huge Gearbox fan. But to sit there and say, well, when I was in Topeka, Kansas, wherever the fuck he was at, when I worked at the adults bookstore, I was able to save my money and look through the unstuck pages of my magazines there and get my favorite game. I was there too, Randy. But tell the people the truth. The games were expensive because the medium was expensive. Cartridges were expensive. And then you had publishers taking advantage of that. And those were the Wild West days of games prices. When Sony stabilized the market and put discs out there and made those the norm, I know Saturn and the Sega CD came out first, but it became the norm with PlayStation. When they stabilized the market, it was a whole different bartering system. And these games go up increments of 5 to 10 every several years, not twice $20 within the same generation. That's absurd. And some only went up $5 because you were making more discs. Said, because the packaging got more expensive. So they charge you an additional $5 sometimes. Midway through, sometimes. And it wasn't every single game. So we're in a different bartering system, going all the way back to the 80s. Shit, well, if that's the case, then why don't we talk about, well, man, if I wanted to beat Altered Beast, man, it used to cost me $20 every time I played the game. If we're gonna do that, let's go back all the way to when there were no consoles and it was nothing but arcades. I used to have to put $20 worth of quarters in there. Let's go all the way back then. No, there's certain points in time that what happened way back when, and you're talking to an old fogey saying this, it doesn't matter. The market has been stabilized thanks to PlayStation. You're not supposed to have multiple $10 price increases within a generation or more. Shit, Nintendo wants $90 games. This is absurd. And so, of course, Randy Pitchford saying that's not, ironically, Cold Blood points out the irony in it. Yeah, and the less than 5% of people that still are hooked to Borderlands all like that, you don't buy your game, but it'll flop because you're being flippant and you're not being honest. There weren't save cards back then. There wasn't online back then. When I paid $80 for that game, the cost of playing that game was built and burnt into and baked into that game. Now I gotta pay $80 for a game and pay for online every month and buy hard drive space and pay for cloud saves and buy a new controller because my fucking controller gets stick drift every 3 weeks. There's so many auxiliary costs that comes with gaming now. It's absurd. Talk about that. All right, man, we made a way. And then, look, let's be honest. There weren't as many games for gamers to really get excited about back in the day. I was, every year. Don't get me wrong, there were a lot of cool games to play. But, you know what I'm saying? Like most gamers, okay, maybe 10 games total that caught your eye. Not saying that you were interested. I would try that out. I would play that, Now we're talking about dozens. So you got way more games, and it's proven in the fact that there's a bigger attachment rate of games. I think right now there's an attachment rate on average of like 13, where back then in those days that you're talking about, Randy, was only 8. I did the research. So the attachment rate has gone up significantly. So people are buying more games now. Then on top of them buying more games, they gotta pay. They're paying more to play those games. What are we doing here? You don't buy Borderlands. If it's $80, this is the first time I'm saying this. I don't want to be anti-dev or whatever, but there's got to be a lesson taught. I don't see no visual quality of life as far as technology or any of that shit. This looks like Borderlands 3.5. I'm not paying $80 for that shit, and I'm a huge Borderlands fan. But fuck that, I'm not doing that. People got to be taught a lesson. If you're a real fan of Borderlands, you could have very easily said, "Hey, whatever the price is, it's not in my control, but we're gonna make it worth your while. Stay tuned." And that's it. Wait, wanted to hear that other shit?
Bro, he's gonna look like a fucking fool when this game isn't $80 now. Actually,
it better not be. That's the only thing to save him now. It better not be no $80. I'm gonna be honest with you, and again, I played Borderlands 1 Cold Blood on every fucking thing. I played it on live. I played it on PlayStation, Xbox, PC. I played it on a tablet. I forgot how I was able to play it on. Maybe it was on live that allowed me to play it. I've played Borderlands 1. I have like 6 different. I played it everywhere it could be played at. I was in love with Borderlands 1. You're talking to a huge Borderlands fan. Huge. Borderlands 2 bought day one. Borderlands 3 bought day one. Now, like the Handsome Jack series and some of the pre-sequel, I wasn't into those and all that shit. But the mainline games, I always got them day one. I'm not getting it. If this is $80, I don't even know if I want to get it for $70. To me, looking at the quality of life, this is a $60 game. I'm playing V Rising right now, which, you know, is graphically on par. It's not cell shaded, but, you know, come on, it's graphically on par. And that game is huge too. So the fuck what? That game is $40. I think you can get on sale for $14 right now, but the game retails normally for $40. Well, yeah, I don't want to hear that shit. This is Borderlands 3.5, man. I don't even think $70 is justified. Especially when you got games like fucking Atom Fall, right? Atom Fall that visually look way better, destroy Borderlands 3.5, right? That are just as big, and you can do all types of shit in Atom Fall. When you got games like Clear Obscure, right? Those games are $40-$50. I'm not, yeah, don't buy it. And I don't care who gets mad at it. It is not about being broke. I already got members content on it. While y'all calling me broke, I was out there buying $10,000 to $15,000 pieces of machinery out of pocket with cash for my business, just because I happen to run up on it. Ain't nobody broke. It's about the principle. Everybody ain't like y'all going out there, 5 finger rings, gold chains hanging from your neck and your back and shit, doing all types of frivolous shit with your money, not doing anything with it, not doing anything fruitful with it. And then when you go broke, oh man, I wish you're trying to pawn everything and shit. Everybody's not like that. People work off of principle. That's how they're able to manage their money. It ain't about being broke. It's about the fuck. I won't pay this shit. I'm not paying for this. It's crazy. So, Mary Wilcox says he's already a full cold blood. Absolutely. Yeah. He's shown his true colors over the last several years, especially with that alien shit. I really lost faith with him over, was it Space Marines? When Space Marines launched the way that he did, and he was basically trying to rip the people that bought that game off so he can get funds for Borderlands 3, I think it was, or 2. I think it was 3. I could be wrong. I know it was 2. Yeah, he's full of shit. Anyway, all right. That's our show for today, folks. Thank you very much for coming through. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. We got one new member today. Yeah, you're gonna want to check out that video I got out there today. Alien, thank you, Faded Blaze. Alien Colonial. Yes, that's Colonial. Yeah. Yep. He said both of those games don't look better. Nah. What do you mean gritty? You might like the gameplay. I like the gameplay of Borderlands series. I like the gameplay, but is it $70 gameplay? No. Is it $70 aesthetics? No. It's the same game that we got for $50 before, $60 before, and 60 after that. What makes it $70, $80, bro? It's the same game. Can you imagine if God of War 2018 looked exactly and played exactly like God of War 3? That's what that's what we're defending here. Imagine if God of War 2018 looked exactly like and played exactly like God of War 3. Would that be worth $60? No. So I don't see any quality of life stuff. I'm not saying the game ain't gonna be good, but I'm not seeing, when I think $70, $80, I'm not even thinking $80. When I'm thinking $70, I'm thinking you're using the latest technology as far as visuals, as far as things that you can do in the game. Like there are some you have a technological showcase in regards when I'm thinking $70. If you just have a pretty looking game that's polished, that's big, that's not $70. Again, look at Atom Fall. It's not $70. I don't know. I don't know if it'll blow them out of the water. Why is everybody calling me today? With that said, let me get out of here, y'all. Mary Wilcox says, keep dreaming. All right, let me get out of here, y'all. But yeah, thank you so much for supporting us. We'll be back Thursday. I'm gonna do some gameplay on Thursday, and then we'll be back here Friday. So you guys are getting 2 in a row podcasts again this week. It's just last week was just crazy. But you know, everything should be okay this week. We'll be back Thursday with some gameplay on Twitch. So if you're not following us on Twitch, make sure you do so. You can wait for the game stream to come here, but it won't be live, and I can't guarantee when it comes to YouTube. It might take 2 days, it might take 3, who knows. But yeah, follow us on Twitch. That's the Hard Knock Digital Culture at twitch.tv/HNDC TV. All right. With that said, we're out of here. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. Oh yeah, don't forget, become a member before it's too late, so you don't miss out on your opportunity to get Death Stranding, you know, or get added to our Death Stranding raffle. All right, peace. Oh.